Let's learn about how expressions get evaluated down to a single result. We already learned that it happens by operators being applied to the operands, but the key here is to know that it should happen in a proper sequence, which is known as the order of evaluation. Now, order of evaluation has two factors. First is the operator precedence, and the second one is operator associativity. Let me show you that in an example. I will go ahead and declare a variable called result, and then say 20 plus 5 times 2. This is my expression. Let's talk about precedence first. So I have two operators here. One is additive, another one is multiplicative. The idea here is that some operators have higher precedence than others. And so we start evaluating our expression starting from the ones that have higher precedence and then working down to the lower ones. The way we know which operator has higher precedence and which one has the lowest one is either by memorizing the order or looking it up whenever we need to. I will show you an existing chart that has all that information on it, but you can simply search this in Google and you will find it just as easily. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at this. On the top, we have operator categories that have the highest precedence, and on the lower side, we have the ones that have lowest precedence. And then we have a range in between. We can see that additive is lower than multiplicative. So addition is the one we used, and then we also used multiplication. Let's go back. Now, knowing that, we know that we will first evaluate 5 times 2, get the value of that, then evaluate the rest of the expression. So in this case, it will be 5 times 2, which will be 10, and then we will say plus 20, which will be 30. Let's go ahead and check that out by printing it to the console. And don't forget to breakpoint it and start. As you can see, it says 30. Now, a very important thing, we can manually change the order by putting parentheses around whichever part of the expression that we want it to be evaluated first. So we can do that simply by putting parentheses around 20 plus 5. And now what's going to happen is that this part will be evaluated first, and then the result will be used to evaluate the rest of the expression. So in this case, instead of it being 5 times 2 and then adding that to 20, we will say 20 plus 5, which is going to be 25, and then times that 2, which is going to be 50. So in this case, we manually change the order. Let's go ahead and take a look at that. As you can see, now it's 50. Great. So that's operator precedence. But what happens if we have two operators that have the same exact precedence? So if we go back to the chart, you see that here we have multiplication and division, and they both have the same precedence in the same category. What we then rely on is operator associativity. And you can see that there are some that are left to right, and there's some that are right to left. What that means is, let's go back to the example. Left to right means that it starts evaluation from the left side. So it'll be like this, get the result of that, and then do the rest of it. And right associative means that it will start the evaluation from the right side. So if this was right associative, then it would, if these operators were right associative, then it would start evaluation from here, get the result, then evaluate the rest of the expression. But since it's left associative, it will first do 20 divided by 5. So it'll first say, do they have the same precedence? And of course they do. Then it will say, okay, so what's the associativity? And associativity is left to right. So it will start from 20 divided by 5, which is going to be 4, and then it's going to turn that into 4. So it's going to evaluate that first part, and then use that value in order to evaluate the rest of the expression, which will be 8. So this will result to 8. Let's go ahead and check that out. As you can see, 8. Great. But once again, even with associativity, you can still change the order by using parentheses. So you can simply say, you know what, I want this to be evaluated first, and then I want to go ahead and evaluate the rest of the expression. So instead of it going from left to right, it's going to go from right to left because we changed it manually by using parentheses. Let's go ahead and check this out. As you can see, we have a totally different result because we have changed the order manually. So in summary, we have learned how expressions get evaluated down to a single result based on order of evaluation, which consists of two factors, those being operator precedence and operator associativity.